everybody, this is just kind of a quick video today, just kind of talking about what's going on in my life, and then also let's talk about, are you training for, are you preparing for what's coming? And first, for new viewers to this channel, welcome to my bug out location. My little cabin is up there. This channel is all about prepping and also self-defense. So if you like information that the mainstream media typically doesn't talk about, then make sure that you give this channel a subscribe and also hit that like button. So I'm out here at my bug out location today because I have been tapping maple trees over the past couple of weeks. Now, I don't know if you can see the buckets I got on some of the maple trees here, but just today alone I have collected seven of these 5-gallon buckets of just pure maple sap that I will boil down into maple syrup. Now, what is so good about a very simple skill like this is I'll get just 1 pint of maple syrup from every 5-gallon bucket that I harvest, and just today only, we still have a couple more weeks of this maple harvesting season, but just today I should end up with like 7 pint-sized bottles of maple syrup. Now, the awesome thing about maple syrup is, well, it's calories, and number 2, it can add a lot of flavor to different foods that you may make. But this is just a very simple skill that you can learn. It's just a matter of tapping a couple of holes in your maple tree, putting your taps in there, running the tubes down to your 5-gallon bucket so that the sap slowly drips into your bucket. And then when you get a bucket full, then you just harvest the bucket of sap and boil it down until it reaches the maple syrup consistency. Now, here is where I am currently boiling the sap down into maple syrup at. And in today's good times, it's just as easy. It's just easier to use these turkey fryers and stainless steel pots to boil them down in. And if it was in a grid down situation, I would just be using wood fire to actually boil these down. So speaking of simple prepping skills that you can learn, I think me and my group is going to get a bit more serious on the different skills that maybe not even learning brand new for the first time, but even practicing to get even better at. And for this portion of the video, I had to move it inside because it's now dark outside, plus it's like 29 degrees outside, but the wood burning stove is keeping me nice and toasty in here. But again, I think with my group, we're going to focus more on security out here, and I am definitely going to be putting my prepping and learning my skills into overdrive because I just have a sinking suspicion that we've got some hard times coming up ahead. And I mentioned this in another video just recently, but my understanding is that we have had a lot of terrorists that have gotten into our country underneath the old president with that wide open border, and it's my understanding that all those terrorists that have snuck into our country is that their goal is to do nationwide mass killing attacks across our country to, number 1, cause and spread terror, and number 2, to cause an economic collapse. I mean, basically, these terrorists really want to bring the United States down to its knees. Now, I am not trying to harp on you in this video, but if I were in your shoes, I would be really serious about getting more food put back if you don't have that much food already put back, multiple ways to procure and also filter or purify water. I'd also be looking at your security status of wherever you would have to be at and remain at should things get bad and dangerous. And then if you have any chronic conditions like diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or high blood pressure, or anything like that, I would be getting extra of those medicines stockpiled back also. And then also, I think I'm going to get a really good medicinal garden started here at the bug out property, along with maybe starting to get garden plots prepared out here beforehand. Because along with my long-term storage food, I want the bug out property to be as self-sufficient as I can possibly make it with the time and the money that I have that I can work with. And just as a shameless plug, I have written a physical book that's like over 400 pages, and I think only costs like 25 bucks, but it gives clear and simple and concise instructions on how you can make a lot of different medicines to treat things like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, headaches, infected skin cuts, really bad coughs, just a whole bunch of different ailments that you would typically suffer from even in a grid down situation. And if you want to check that book out, again, it's like 25 bucks and I will put a link to it down below. But folks, I've got a sinking suspicion we got something bad coming down in the more near future than further away. And I think besides me knowing it, I think you also know it. And I don't think it's going to be like some kind of a Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome type of situation like so many preppers think it will be, but I think there's, you know, things could get really dangerous and our economy could really take a downturn, kind of like a second Great Depression or something like that. So for me and my group, I believe that we're going to be really focusing on our prepping and then also on our security this year. And folks, I hope that along with me working and focusing on my prepping, I also hope that you're focusing on your prepping too. So what is your thoughts on this? Do you think that we have something bad coming down, you know, in the near future? Or do you think that maybe I'm paranoid and everything's going to be just fine over 2025 and or maybe 2026? Comment down below with your thoughts on that. Anyways, folks, this is enough internet from me today. I do need to start working on my dinner. But anyways, folks, if you made it this far, hey, thank you very much for watching, and I pray that you have a good night.